What's up, y'all? Thank y'all for joining me again for another episode of Death of the Asia. We got a really hot, spicy topic tonight. Y'all go ahead and get in here. When y'all get in here, go ahead and hit the like button, hit the subscribe button on YouTube. If you're watching from Facebook, go over to YouTube, go watch on YouTube, get the numbers up, like it, and hit the subscribe button. Um, Tonight we're gonna be talking about faking orgasms and why y'all need to stop faking these orgasms out here putting on or whatever case may be and not being completely satisfied and faking it. And I have my special guest who is joining me tonight, Miss Cherry Dundada. Let me bring her up here on the screen, baby. Hey, Miss Cherry.
Hey everybody, hey the Asia, what's up? It's Cherry Red, aka Cherry Dundada. This is my first podcast, but I'm ready to talk about women and how we need to stop faking orgasms. Okay?
Yes, indeed. And I found out today that men actually fake orgasms too.
I knew that. I've always knew that.
I did not know that men faked orgasms as well. So that really tripped me out. In the midst of me planning for the video, I was asking, some of my friends, what they thought about, the promo and all this old type of stuff. And then they gave me some info regarding men actually faking orgasms. And so we're gonna get into that. I hope some of them come up on the I hope some of them come on here and join the feed, and so we could talk about that with them. I would definitely love to hear a guy's perspective.
Yeah, I was just about to say I can't speak for the men on why they fake them. Like I can kind of guess, but I don't know why. So
yeah, but they do.
Yes, girl. I done heard of men. Like I've heard like they done said, like I ain't really want to hit her. I ain't really want to fuck her, and I just spit on the bitch back, and I got up and I left. They spit on her back. Oh my god!
Like real spit,
like spit on her back, like he nut, like acting like he busted, like he ejaculated. He spit on the back. He spit on the back instead of nutty, and was like, yeah, okay, I'm gone.
Who told you that?
Confidential.
Oh, it's confidential.
It's confidential.
And so he spit on her back.
Yes.
Why did he sleep with her if he didn't want to? Was he using her for money or something?
It was one of those take it for the team type,
Was she a big girl?
Yes, it was an ex of mine.
Why they do the fat girls like that? Why y'all do us like that?
I don't know, but she was big. Apparently, she wasn't that big. It wasn't the big that was a problem. She was also not pretty. So
yeah,
it's a difference when you big. Because I know some men that don't necessarily fuck with big women, but if you're pretty, they might let you suck the dick or fuck, But the bitch was just. It's the ex. It's confidential. Not putting.
Oh, okay, I understand. But yeah, they need to quit doing the big girls like that, man. Because that is how he was coming up. Like I would see, it done. That was what I got big once I got older. You know what I'm saying? But when I was coming up, I used to see how they used to treat them and be like, take one for the team type of thing. That's the reason why when you said that, I knew at that time he had to be talking about a big girl because that's how they get big girls.
They be eating us. They be eating us little ass women too. Like they don't like, especially down south. They like big women and they like thick women, and they show us love too. But it's favorite down there. So I've been on the side of the fence that big women have been on, and whoever has been on. Like as far as somebody want to quote unquote take it for the team, or they were not attracted to me and they just fucked me because they a man and they horny. I mean, if you look good, they'll fuck you.
Exactly. Yeah. Damn, Sha said cherry on point. Yes, indeed. So I want to pop this off by asking this question because I'm about to tell a little bit of my business. So I want to pop this off first by asking this question, and I'm gonna answer it as well. Do you actually climax or have an orgasm from penetration?
That is like 5% of the time that I actually have a real deal penetrative orgasm.
I've honestly never had one just from penetration alone. Never in my life.
I've only had two like real deal big O's from penetrative
From
sex.
penetration.
Yes, like it's not easy to achieve. My clitoral is
Yeah, I have like from the clitoral stimulation or whatever, but I have to be doing it at the same time. Otherwise, I'm not going to have an orgasm just from penetration alone.
right. But
And I don't know what's that about. I had got to the point where I was thinking, maybe it's something mental. I might need to relax. I am one of those people who like I do have an issue with control sometimes. And I be having an issue with just kind of letting go sometimes. And that actually make it hard for me to have an orgasm, period.
yeah,
Let alone trying to have one for penetration, but penetration is not one that I've ever had, just strictly penetration or whatever. And that's the reason why I'm like, I can't believe that some people will actually fake an orgasm at this age. Now, when I was younger, I would, because I didn't want the guy to feel bad.
yeah.
So I will fake the orgasm. But at this age, I don't see how anybody will fake it, because like it's too much that you got to put into it. Have you ever faked the orgasm before?
Oh, you asking me? Yikes! Honest me, yes. That's because of my damn knee. Yes, I have plenty of times, and actually, it has been like during a relationship and when it's been somebody random. When it's somebody random, like a casual fuck or somebody I just want to hit. I don't really give a fuck. Like most women don't give a fuck when it's somebody that they ain't trying to have a commitment with. Yeah, I'm gonna be a fake the big O. I want to stroke your ego. Men are they have they wear their ego on their sleeves, and men are also very visual and auditorial. So they like it when you have those pretty faces when they fucking you and they see the pretty ass sex face and you making all these noises. So it strokes their ego. I like to stroke a man's ego. I like to make him feel good, but that's only with my man. Like when I'm in a relationship, when I'm just it's somebody random when I stand, unless it's feeling good, like really you hitting me right. Even if I don't achieve an orgasm, like I'm gonna make noise if you hit me good. But if I don't achieve an orgasm, I'ma fake it and not give a fuck.
Okay, so let me ask you this, because just because you don't have an orgasm doesn't mean that the sex wasn't good. So I want people to get that understood, because
Right.
like I love penetration. I'm really not into the clitoral stimulation that much as I've gotten older. I prefer going on to Pound Town. You know what I'm saying? That's just me. But at the same time, it's like it be good. I just don't have an orgasm from it. But I feel like when I was younger and I was faking it, and you could tell me whether or not you've experienced this or not. But when I was younger and I fake it, it usually would be with a guy that I was trying to use for his money. I would do that because it's like I'm trying to go ahead and get you off of me. So I fake it like, I've already
Yeah,
had an
so yeah,
orgasm.
I've had tricks and have tricks and sugar daddies, and yes, I'm being honest me, the
Mhm.
professional hoe. Anyways, professional hoe, paid hoe. Yes, whenever I am doing it, like selling whatever my pussy, whatever you want to say, or whatever. Being honest, whenever you just or like using somebody for money, um, yes, I fake it to get them off of me. It's just like, especially if they time up or I ain't into it, because most of the time I'm not into it. It's a service. You asking for it and you gonna pay for the motherfucking shit.
Yeah,
Just that's it. Like you gonna get it. It's gonna be very theatrical because you
right.
paid for it. So I mean,
Exactly. Yeah, in a case like that, yeah. Now, when it has been a case where I've been in a relationship, I'm gonna tell you something. I had to grow into stroking a man's ego and understanding, how important it actually is, and kind of really tapping into my femininity and, using it to my advantage. It really does work in relationships or whatever, because it was a point in time, because I have to get mine off different type of ways. So it's like it's not just gonna be from penetration anyway, you know what I'm saying? But it's like if the guy wouldn't listen to certain things that I would tell him to do or whatever, I wouldn't be nice about it. You know, I'll be ready to fight about it because I be feeling like I done wasted my pussy. And I
Yeah.
had to realize that, you know, it's okay sometimes to kind of like, you know, talk somebody through things in a nicer way because it takes time for a person to actually really learn your body. It takes a plenty of sessions for someone to really learn your body. So with that being said, I had got to the point to where I would just be a little bit more gentle and a little bit more patient. Now, it had got to a point where before I knew how to talk, before I knew how to talk to men, I would do that because I ain't know what to say because I used to always, you know, pop off at the mouth. So I really didn't know what to say if I wasn't getting satisfied by somebody that I was in a relationship with. So I would fake it. But when I learned how to articulate myself and present the issues that I'm having in a pleasant tone to not crush his ego or dismantle his self-esteem or whatever the case may be, at that point I started being a little bit more vocal and I stopped faking it because I'm at an age where I do it for me. I'm not doing it for anybody else or whatever the case may be. Even if it's just, you know, for a thrill or whatever the case may be, I'm doing it for me. So for me to not get what I want out of that experience, it makes me feel used. So now I'm more aware of my emotional makeup, what I need emotionally. You know, I'm more adamant about, you know, securing my personal boundaries and securing my peace and things like that. So I'm definitely not gonna play with myself like that at this particular age. Now back then I would do that. But it's just to the point now, if I'm not getting the satisfaction that I need, that's something that's very important to me. So now I'm to a point where if I'm not satisfied in a situation, I will actually remove myself from the situation. I quit dealing with the person altogether.
Mm-hmm. Yes. And I agree with that. Like, you made me actually think of it in a different light, like do it for myself and not be so theatrical. But also, I give a good show when they pay good. But just saying. But you right, like you are in a way, not even in a way, not every way getting used whenever you fake it. And
Yeah,
I want to do it like now. I want to do it just solely for me. You making me just want to do it solely for me and be like, I don't give a fuck if you don't. You like the pussy, you might not like the damn voice or whatever the moans, but it's real. This is real. And
exactly.
that don't mean it's not good, because like we touched on earlier, that does not mean it's not good. Like I have had way more good sex than I have bad, and I've only nutted 5% of the time in real life, like real penetration. So
Really?
yes, so it's just
Like
like
throughout the
even
whole.
my relationships, like yes, like, but it was good. Don't get me wrong, I was very vocal, loud, screaming, moaning, but it just. And it was like I would sometimes almost feel it, but it wouldn't get there. And I'm vocal too, like very vocal with my like spouse or partner or whoever I'm interested in, because you could possibly learn how to make me orgasm if I teach you
Yeah,
or tell you. Learn the stroke, you know. Some men don't know. Some men think they know how to stroke, but they don't know your stroke. They don't know how to get you there.
yeah.
So you gotta be vocal with a man. You can't, especially if you care. And like me, I'm young, so I agree with you when you say even if it's somebody casual or random, like you still gonna do it for you. But at the same time, like I said, if they pay good, because they pay good here in Vegas, pay good.
Now that's a whole totally different. That's a whole totally different ball game. Like in something like that, yeah, you definitely want to, you know, hurry up and get the business clear. Basically, you know what I'm saying. You don't want to waste a whole lot of time trying to get the business clear. So I definitely understand it.
Yeah.
Um, like, do you feel that at some point, because like when I wasn't actually getting satisfied or whatever the case may be at some points I actually felt like I didn't feel, how can I say this? It's like I actually started to internalize it as if the person really wasn't that into me, didn't care whether or not I was satisfied. I actually used to start like really feeling bad and being down on my own self because I wasn't getting satisfied. It was just the weirdest thing because me, in my mind, I would sit here and think like, if you really cared about me, especially if it's somebody I'm in a relationship with or whatever, I'm like, if you really cared about me, then you would, take your time and get me there. But then I had to realize that, you know what? I'm just not set up like that. It's some people that just not set up like this. All these years, it still hasn't happened for me in penetrative sex. Now, in other ways, I have had orgasms. Or in other instances, I have had orgasms before, whatever the case may be. But this is another thing that I wanted to touch on: the men faking it. Um, the guys in the group that I was in, and we were having a conversation. They were actually saying that a man, what did they say? He could bust a nut. I think he can't bust a nut without having an orgasm, or he can't have an orgasm without busting a nut. I think that's what they said. I gotta read what they said, but it was one of the two, and it was just like basically making it seem um like the difference with us, like we can actually. I think I've actually had an orgasm without actually coming.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
that's the
so
difference. I'm sorry.
yeah, it's a difference between the two. You know what I'm saying? So with the men, I'm like, what? It just don't make any sense to me because I'm like, how can you not have an orgasm without busting a nut? But we can. You know what I'm saying? But it's just weird that it's set up like that. And one of the guys actually said that the thing is that the um condoms sometimes prevent them from having an orgasm. And the way that they fake it, because I'm like, how is it? And then you said it in the beginning of the show, because I'm like, how is it that a man can actually fake, having an orgasm or busting a nut
Big.
unless they in there, unless it's cool for him to shoot up the club. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So they said that the way to do it is like if they have on a condom, they could fake it, make it seem like they nutted. And you said somebody said they spit it on the damn girl.
Yeah. See, a man, see, I get it because, like, okay, me, I'm going back to like the birth. When men are born, most men are circumcised. So when you get circumcised, it cuts away from the nerves. A lot of the nerves, they still can feel good and the sex feels good, but it cuts away from a lot of the nerves that they could possibly have. I believe uncircumcised men could possibly achieve an orgasm without like nutting, but uncircumcised men, they can't, because I mean, you took those nerves away. We women, our pearl, the cleat, is right there. You can just bring it to surface and stimulate it just right there and just come without. I can achieve an orgasm without squirting, without creaming, and it's an orgasm. The man might not believe.
Right.
The man might not believe because it's no, like,
It's
wet as
no
hell. He ain't wet as
bodily
hell.
fluids.
Yeah, he ain't wet as
Yeah.
hell, but yeah, you got it. You got me there. Like, it can happen. Like, our anatomy is different than a man's. And then when I believe, like, when men get circumcised, that really cuts away from this, like, the stimulation of their dick. So I can see
Yeah.
the difference.
Yeah, I did hear that circumcision does desensitize it. I did hear that. And there are a lot of men that I have talked to, because I talk to men a lot, but there are a lot of men that I have talked to that has actually talked about the fact that they wish that they weren't, because they don't feel what they it's not giving what it's supposed to have gave. But I'm like, how would you know when you've been like this since you was a baby? So how would you know? But I guess it comes from hearing other people's stories. The same way, like when I hear other women talk about, like you said that you have had an orgasm through penetration before, like me hearing you say that, I'm like, oh, okay, you know, what's that all about? Because even though I'm a
Great
woman,
penetration.
I've never experienced that, but I know that it happens because other women experience. So for whatever reason, it's just one of those things that it just never happened for me, and I don't know if it ever will. And at this point, I'm almost scared. I might get digmatized. I'm too damn old to get digmatized.
When you get an orgasm from penetration, it hit different. I ain't gonna lie to you. They hit the bottom when they say they get to the bottom, girl. Oh my God, I remember it, girl. I was 18 last time. That's it. I'm finna be 28, so that's been almost a decade,
Oh
girl.
wow.
But I still remember that. Oh, I still remember it in them O's. I had a few of them, but I achieved it because the dick was big and it was long. And it hit the spot right. Like you have a spot, you got a G spot in you that somebody you just gonna have to get somebody and just hit it right.
But I'm about to tell you something. This finna bust your bubble.
Oh my
I'm
God.
gonna tell you
Let me put
something.
my blunt out.
It's finna bust your bubble. It's finna fuck you up.
I'm putting my blunt out right now.
I actually enjoy a smaller penis better than a huge one.
No, that's not busting my bubble because I like mediums and mediums.
I like it to be
I,
because it's like something, and then with a little curve, a little hook. You know what I'm saying? And it like it's something with like the G spot like up there, and it just like it's something. I be like, you know what? If it's keep going long enough, something is coming that I ain't never felt before. But then all of a sudden
come.
he
It's
blast
too,
off.
it's too, too
So
good, you guys. It's too good, girl.
yeah, and then I'm like, I wonder how long that gotta last for because it'd be a while before I actually get to that point. Then I'd be like, oh yeah, this is it or whatever. And then the thing that be messing me up with guys is that if you start making a sound or you make a move, they'll switch up the rhythm. And it's like you trying to let them know this feels good. I'm making a sound off of this. Don't stop what you're doing. So now I be just don't stop, because something is there. But then once I have to talk too much, or if a person talking too much to me, it's like I be having to zone out. And then you have guys that they want to talk and ask you if it's theirs, and you gotta answer a question there or whatever the case may be. Be like, please stop it.
Yeah. Yes. Oh my God.
Yeah.
It really just depends on the man. You just gonna have to find because it sounds like you have the potential of reaching a big O through penetration. You're just gonna have to find a man that is timely. They got what is called stamina. I'm about to
Yeah,
say.
I'm gonna have to go to the younger pool.
I'm about to say that. Like you gonna have to go a little bit older
Yeah,
than them the men you be having. I be seeing them. They be handsome. Don't get me wrong. They just
the
be
guys I be
older than
talking to.
men. Just like how women shit. I'm 27 and shit. My bones be popping. I be on top, bones pop, and I be having to be like, hold on. And I'm 27, so we women we lose it a little bit too, and men lose it a lot. Like especially when they get older. Some men they keep up with themselves and have a good diet. They can be still got stamina. They keep it up. They ain't got ED. Ain't got Viagra and that. But yeah, I was just about to say you really might achieve a big goal with somebody that's young.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to go younger, but it's just the mentality and everything. I just be like, whatever. But I'm kind of like at this point with Stella trying to get her groove back, so I really don't care. Like I know you, little boy, you finna go out here and do something silly or ignorant or whatever the case may be. Just lock the door.
Yeah, you might find one that's actually level-headed because some of them are actually level-headed that like women that are older. So I mean, they
Yeah,
are. But I
yeah,
mean,
that's true.
most of them, girl, you just send them on their way because let them go out and play
Hmm.
in the streets because they still got milk on their neck and shit. So
Exactly.
they gotta go out and be some hoes. Let them get over that phase if they ever get over it. Because some men,
Right. Damn shots I say they gotta stop beating off and watching porno too, to your point, Deasia. Yeah, I think that is actually like I actually have this let me see here. It's on the charger. This thing right here. Can you call a rose by any other name?
oh, I've
That's
never
one thing,
experienced
that's one
that.
thing, that's one thing I know. A rose is a rose is a rose is a rose. This thing right here.
I gotta buy me one.
Listen, don't buy this. Listen, don't. This is how, like, this is one of those things where they tell you, like, you know how they tell you, tell the kids don't do drugs. This is one that don't do this. Even though I do it or whatever the case may be, and I probably be, sounding like a hypocrite by saying don't do it, because I don't even actually, I just I didn't even know where this thing was at first, because I got it because I did put it on the charger, because I said I do probably need to make a little use of it since I bought it. But you only got two. You by the time you turn this thing on, it's over. It's over with. And I was like, you know what? If I keep using this, a man ain't gonna be able to do nothing with me. He is not finna do nothing with me. I thought this was the dumbest ass toy ever. For the simple fact, it's like the shape of it or whatever. It's like,
Rose, yeah.
boy, I was just like, this is the dumbest thing ever. And
I'm
I
gonna
just
buy it. You said don't buy it. I'm gonna buy it.
oh, girl.
I do videos, so I gotta buy something like that. I need something.
Yeah. You do. Are you on still on OnlyFans?
I'm still on OnlyFans, but I'm a slowly wean. I got other platforms that people pay for too, and I'm slowly weaning myself towards that. And I'm probably gonna let go of OnlyFans because the way they did us, I don't trust it.
Yeah, I feel you on that.
I don't trust it. Like I venture towards actual porn platforms that are for porn that won't ever kick us off because that's what they were made for. Not because girl, OnlyFans had me fucked up, but I wanted to like fucked up because I got other sources of income and I'm on other platforms. But I feel for the other girls. It's a lot of new girls and there's a lot of people that actually do make a lot of money from OnlyFans that solely rely on it.
Mm-hmm.
That made me feel bad. And my advice to everybody that's a sex worker or that's interested in sex work, if you're going to do that type of sex work, be on multiple platforms because you never know.
Yeah,
You just never
exactly.
know.
And that's the thing. Like I was saying, when it comes to actually using toys and things like that, it actually desensitizes you. And I really don't feel like it's a good idea to use them regularly. And like I said, I had that rose. Matter of fact, this thing was rolled up under the damn bed. I ain't used it or anything in a while. I gotta use it, clean it off and all that kind of stuff. Cause hell, I ain't even know what the thing was that it had done rolled up under the bed or whatever the case may be. I was just cleaning up or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is with that, like Shasha was saying, is with the guys, I think it's really bad for them to do the masturbation or whatever a lot, because it does desensitize them and gets them to the point where I do feel that with a man actually getting to the point where he's not being sexually satisfied with a woman, a lot of times is from masturbating and stuff too much, because he's so used to using his hand or whatever toy he has or whatever. And I think that same thing applies to women.
I was just about to say that.
Mm-hmm.
Because sometimes, especially during like certain cycles, like times of the cycle when we ovulate, I be more like my like libido be high. So, girl, I use my damn wand, and then you show yo bros. I go get my wand. I get my wand some other time, but
yeah,
I use my wand 10 times a day, and then it'll get to a point to like by the third or second day. It'll take about an hour for me to achieve an orgasm. So I know I've used it too much and I have to take a break, because if I get a dick, I'm not gonna, it's not, I'm gonna, it's probably, I'm gonna feel it, but it might not feel as good as it would if I didn't masturbate so much.
exactly.
So, yeah.
And that's the thing too that I had to learn. I think it is important for you to masturbate, for you to learn your body, for you to be able to tell somebody else what to do. Mm-hmm. And that's the thing, like, what helped me with just being more vocal and telling a person, hey, this is where you need to be. This is what I need. This is what I want, or whatever, to get me there. Mm-hmm. And I think that is good for that. But I do think it could go to a point where it just end up being a little overboard, because I do remember there was a point in time when I was a little younger, when it came to masturbation, it was like crazy. You know what I'm saying? It was just like, oh my God. this is happening and I'm doing it in places I don't think I should be doing this at. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, I need to slow down with this here, but it wasn't. And then the thing too, it had gotten so bad because I could be in a whole full blown relationship. It don't even mean that, like, that didn't even mean that I didn't have an actual sex life or anything. It was just something that I enjoyed doing and I like to do. Goddamn it, I just get bored and do it. If my head hurt, I would do it. I thought that was the answer to everything. Like, your head hurt, you having a bad day, you feeling sick, you tired, you down, you need to boost your mood. I'm like this here. You know what I'm saying? So that was me. But I realized that's not cool. And like, even I have been in a relationship before and I used to do that all the time and he used to feel like he wasn't satisfying me. I'm like, you are satisfying me, but you know, this is what I do. You know what I'm saying? You could help me, but this is what I do. You get what I'm saying? And that right there got really ridiculous. So I had to really get to the point where I was like, you know what, let me chill on this. And like, even now, to be honest with you, I'm not as active as I used to be because all of the risk involved. I guess it just comes with just being older or whatever the case may be, where I would like to have, just like with me not being in a relationship, I still only, try and still have me this one person that I deal with or whatever the case may be, because all of the different risk factors and stuff like that now. And I'm not just as promiscuous or whatever as I used to be when I was younger. So with that, I do go and stand the risk of sometimes not being completely satisfied because, the guy around my age and stuff like that. So I'm not completely satisfied all the time, but I do talk about it. And I'm glad that I found a way to express that without tearing a person down, because I know now that it's not their fault a lot of times. Like, at first, because like I told you, I used to internalize it at first and make it seem like it was about me. He wasn't that into me or whatever the case may be. But then I realized, like, now, a lot of times guys be dealing with a lot of things. And I realized too that two things can happen with the guy. If they're too excited about being with you, they could either, one, not even get hard, or two, nut real fast. I've seen some like just be super eager and they would just have to calm themselves down first in order to get up. You know what I'm saying? And then that right there, now that right there is something that has made them feel some type of way. You get them without me even saying anything, because that's what they're dealing with internally.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you ever experienced anything like that where someone was just like super excited and they just didn't get up at all? Or that's just something that happened to me?
I've never had somebody super excited. Well, I've had somebody like they were super excited to where they wouldn't get it up, but it came up eventually. But I've had somebody that was so excited, like I laid back and like spread eagle and they nutted before they even got in the pussy.
I've had that happen before. And I was just like, oh my God, I'm about to start giving these people quotes, because I actually had a situation twice where he actually had his pants on and he wet up his pants. Like, the pants weren't even unzipped yet. And I was just like, are you serious? Ain't nobody that fine for you to be getting on. I was just like, I done came way over here and wasted my time. I started asking for all kinds of money then, because baby, this is not what we finna do right here. Because like at that point, and then he was an older gentleman. So with that being said, he wasn't able to get back up after the simple fact. But I was like, what you call me over here and you done sit here and bust a nut in your pants and you done wet up your jeans? I'm glad that we was at the house, because if we was somewhere, we would have been so embarrassed. But I think that's what used to be happening to, like, that's something that I think that what is it called? Pre uh no, when they nut.
Pre-ejaculation.
pre-ejaculation or false or forward. I don't know. Whatever. I guess that's the
Shooting
word.
blanks. Shooting blanks.
Yeah. Keisha laughing. But that's crazy. But I don't think that, do you think that, okay, you did give an example of what you said was a good reason to fake an orgasm. I think that for women who are in a situation that they're committed to the person that they're with and they see a future in that person and they ain't in the situation trying to use them in order to, come up or whatever the case may be, I feel like you shouldn't fake an orgasm. I think that you really do that man or woman or however however you lay up, whoever you're dealing with. I think you really do that person a disservice by not telling them, because I do feel that eventually, if that person isn't supplementing for the lack of pleasure in other areas, and you gotta really and truly to cover for that, it gotta be really, really the only thing that can kind of like suffice for me staying in a situation where I'm not sexually pleased consistently. He have to have a shitload of money for me to do that. And then, to be honest, I might start cheating then. So that's the reason why I said that for real. You know what I'm saying? I might, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm at an age, I ain't scared to cheat no more. Like, I used to be scared to cheat. Like, I fuck around, cheat on you. So, my thing is, I need to, because I don't want to be that person, I'm going to talk to you. And I think that if you're not satisfied, you become sad, after so long. If you're not actually getting the sexual satisfaction that you need, especially when you're in a committed relationship and you're trying to be faithful, you become sad, you become depressed. It could actually start making you feel like you're not even sexy anymore, like you're not desirable. If it goes on for a certain length of time, you will start to internalize that stuff. So that's the reason why I say I don't feel like it's a good idea for you to actually do that. You need to let that person know life too short to be out here faking an orgasm. Life too short to be out here having whack ass sex, like for real. You know what I'm saying? So the thing is let that person know so they could make the necessary adjustments. Maybe they do need to start taking some medicine or whatever the case may be. Anything, and maybe they just are not really aware of certain things or whatever, because porn has actually tainted people's mind to where they don't even know how to have sex. A lot of times they think it's just this type of situation, boom boom bam, thank you ma'am type of situation, and they don't really know how. So sometimes you got to walk a person through, and I think you're doing them and yourself a disservice if you're faking it in a committed situation.
Also, like, some men have to realize this, like, foreplay is important. It is. And some women don't care about it. Like, if you have a partner that don't care, that's cool. But some women and men really care about foreplay. So some foreplay can like lead to penetrative like stimulation, like it can enhance it because you've already got them in the mood and got them there, and then you do penetrative sex and you can get them to get a big O. Like, that is important. Most men, like a lot of men, I'm not gonna put them on blast. Some men, I'm just gonna put this on the men. I'm gonna apply this to the men that it applies to. Some men, like, they don't suck titties long enough. They don't suck nipples long enough. They don't eat pussy long enough. They just do it a few seconds or a minute, and they just straight to it. Even when you're verbal about it, like sometimes women aren't always verbal about what they like, and you need to be verbal as a woman. Like, speak up about that shit because you need to enjoy the sex too. You need to enjoy it, but. In my instance, I've been verbal about it, and motherfuckers, I guess, feel like they did it for a long time, and then just went straight to it. And not saying that the sex wasn't enjoyable. It was just like, damn, I got needs too.
Yeah, honestly, sometimes people could go too. Sometimes people could go too long in the foreplay because my mind get to wonder. I get to making up a whole different a grocery list, whole different plan, all kinds of stuff be going on. I be talking about I'm hungry now. What I'm finna get in here and eat after this. What I'm about to do, what I got to do tomorrow. You know, did I log off from work? Like all kinds of stuff have been started crossing my mind if a person is doing something for way too long, and then too sometimes people don't do stuff enough, so long enough. So you're absolutely right about that. Keisha said, period. I know sometimes women want to spare egos, but that's gonna leave you resentful and unsatisfied in the long run. Exactly, and that's the reason why in the long, if you just in there, you know, and I don't want nobody to be on here on some BS and try and make it seem like as women we ain't all played the game, we ain't all, you know, dealt with a man to for it to benefit us financially or whatever the case may be. We all done did it. We all done sold us some pussy directly or indirectly. So I don't want nobody to get on here on no bullshit or nothing like that. If it's a situation where you knowing you in there to get what you came for and going on about your business, and you know you doing an even exchange, you know, an even swap ain't never a swindle. If you doing an even exchange or whatever, if the situation is transactional, yeah, of course. Cause who cares at that point? Cause you came there for the money. He came there for the play. You know what I'm saying? So that's a whole totally different situation. You just trying to make sure he get on and get what he need from you, and you get what you need from him, and going on about your business. I ain't talking about them type of situations. I'm talking about like actually being, you know, in a committed type of situation where you actually care about this person. You see some type of future with this person. You're willing to work with them or whatever. At that point, you're doing yourself a disservice if you are laying there for a certain length of time. Now, every night ain't gonna be the same. It ain't gonna. You ain't gonna get a home run. You ain't gonna get the big O every single time. But it needs to be more of those pleasurable times than not, you know, or else you are gonna start feeling some type of way. You really are. I've actually been in a situation with a guy that I knew in my mind in the way that he treated me that he loved me to death, but it's like he wasn't satisfying me like I needed to be satisfied, and I starting to feel some type of way about myself. You know what I'm saying? And it didn't matter how beautiful he told me I was and the things that he did or whatever, because I'm an affectionate person and I do need that. Like, good sex helps you mentally. It really does help your moods and your emotions and all of that. You know what I'm saying? So I did start feeling some type of way. So it's just not a good thing to be in for a long length of time if you can help it.
Let me take a quick break.
Okay, go ahead and take a quick break, girl. You could just come back on when you want to. But Keisha said niggas gotta understand that they will most likely come every time. So take that extra time to listen to me and get me where I need to be. That's pretty reasonable. That's true. What was it that they were saying in the chat? Did they say that the man can have an orgasm without busting a nut, or he can't have an orgasm without busting a nut? What was they saying in that chat? I forgot what they were saying, because I really wish it was a guy on here to I should have asked the guy to come on here too to kind of break that down, because I know that there's instances where men will pretend. But my thing is with in the case where Cherry was talking about the guy who did one for the team or whatever, I was thinking, if you already in there, why not get you one? You know what I'm saying? But maybe he was just so turned off and disgusted by dealing with that particular girl to where he couldn't, and he just wanted it to stop, and went ahead and she said he spit on her back to make her think that he had nutted. Poor baby. I feel so bad for that girl. I hope she turned into a beautiful swan. Keisha said shit make you bitter. It makes you bitter. It does. Keisha say, N words get offended if you don't like what they are doing to your body and it doesn't make sense. I cherry back. I'm finna bring her back on. Keisha said they were saying both, and I think instead of faking the nut, they should tell the chick what makes them come. Why waste time? Yeah, and I think too we gotta keep in mind that even though men they have an ego, they have a big ego, but we have an ego too. You know what I'm saying? We got our feelings and everything, and I get pleasure out of pleasing. You know what I'm saying? So it's like for me to have known that I did not satisfy this person, that's gonna make me feel some type of way. And I think, guys, I think a lot of people are like that. I mean, if you are in a situation and you're interacting with somebody on a sexual level, I think everybody wants to be able to, pop their collar and talk their shit and be like they did that. Everybody want to be able to pat themselves on the back for a good performance or whatever the case may be. So I think that with a guy knowing that they don't say it because, like I said in the beginning of the show, I wouldn't say it at first because I did not know how to articulate that without hurting somebody's feelings. It takes some time to get to a point to even be able to tell somebody, even if you're willing to tell them, just to be able to say it the right way. It takes time to get to that point. So I think that's probably the reason why they don't say anything. But you know how men do. If they ain't getting it how they want it, they just gonna keep. You know what I'm saying? They ain't finna play with you. But men are good with like sticking in a situation. Men don't leave women like women leave men. And I'm gonna have a conversation about that too, like divorces and stuff like that. Men don't really divorce women like that. Men will step out and do something or whatever, but they will look at the fact, she's a good homemaker, she's a good mother, she's a good supporter, she's this, she's that, or whatever. The sex is whack, and that's the only thing I got a problem with. I'm gonna go give me a piece of pussy on the side, and that's what they do instead of actually talking to the person. And another thing with women is, I'm gonna say this too. We got it bad if a man do come to us a lot of times and tell us, and instead of like fixing it, we'll cop attitudes about it and
I was just
make
about to
it
say that.
and flip it on him or whatever. Because a lot of times we be feeling like we got every woman feel like she got the best pussy in the world. Let me tell you something. As long as he in between your legs, it's the best pussy in the world at the time. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So we gotta be open to. We can't. A lot of times we be telling men what they need to do in order to make things work, but then we're not receptive to it when they do it. We can't ask them to come and talk to us, and then when they talk to us, we blow up in their face and we be ready to knock the windows out the car.
Mm-hmm. You can't do that.
Yep.
Vice versa, men too, because some men get emotional when you try to be vocal with them. But women, like, yes, be vocal with your man. Like, if it ain't like, and then men be vocal with your women. Like, if it ain't hitting on shit, you stepping out or whatever, be truthful about that too. Don't hold that. Like, do not
Yeah.
that. But if it's not good,
Mm-hmm.
be vocal. Like, let her know what she's not doing. Let her know what she could do to improve it. Because whatever that side piece is doing, she could do too. If she ain't
Yeah.
no damn 90-year-old woman that got
Approved.
iron knees, that got to walk on a walker or is in an electric wheelchair, she can do what she do too. She can, or she can learn how. If you
Yep.
love,
Either
especially
or.
you right, men don't divorce as quick as women, and women be ready to give up after they see their man like stepping out. But like you have to like within yourself, like it's a two-way street. Come on now, people,
Yeah, that's true.
you neglect, especially if they've been vocal with you and you just still ain't trying to do it what you expect. Like you ain't trying to do it. Like you're not trying to improve. You quote unquote love them, but you're not trying to improve.
Exactly.
What do you expect?
Exactly. Keisha said, "Do you think most men really care?" I think sex be so primal for men that as long as they feel like they conquered you, they are internally satisfied. Mm, I think that is kind of
50-50.
yeah. I think that's an underdeveloped man because the thing is, we got to keep in mind that men have feelings too, and that kind of like dehumanizes them in the sense and make it seem like they don't have feelings as well. So I get what you're saying on that one, Keith, but I don't wholeheartedly agree on that because yes, a man's nature is to hunt. A man's nature is to go out and conquer a woman, but that doesn't mean that he don't want to be satisfied when he do conquer you. You know what I'm saying? So it ain't like I think that kind of like has a lot to do with a guy that's still out here sowing his wild oats type thing. I think that will kind of apply more in that type of scenario. What you think about that, Cherry? Do you think it's more like just a guy that's just out here just wilding anyway that is more primal in his endeavors?
Yes, mainly young men, and just it's old men too. It's a lot of old men, but it's mainly somebody that's not disciplined in the commitment area that wants to be just out here just reckless and with multiple women.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, 50-50. Like it's a lot of men out here that actually do want to build with you and do want to learn you and try to get the feel of you so that they can please you and you can please, like vice versa. They want to learn you, but it's men out here that just want to fuck. They want to conquer you in that way, and they want to fuck you and also you like have a hold on your mind to where they have you thinking that you either have a potential relationship or they in a relationship with you, but they got other relationships. They want to string you along. That real deal alpha type, even though they beta. It's that alpha type, like type that ain't even alpha to me. That's
Yeah, that's toxic masculinity. That's what that sounds like in a sense.
yes, but I mean that's a lot. That's 50% of men, not a lot. It's 50%. It's half because men can have a lot to say about women, and it could be 50-50. So in my opinion,
Yep.
it's 50-50.
Yeah, a
You
lot of this
have,
stuff can be 50-50, you know. It's two sides to it.
yeah.
Keisha said, I asked for feedback and didn't like it, but I tried to work on it. See, that's honest. Keisha, she said she actually asked the man for feedback and she tried to work on it. And that's good. And the thing is that was what I was talking about. You asked this man to give you feedback and then you got a problem with it. And everything we hear is not gonna be something that we gonna like to hear or whatever, but it's good that you were receptive to it to where you were willing to actually do the work because that's definitely important. Hold on, here come Keisha. She wanna come on.
Okay.
Hey girl.
Hey, no, that's not what I meant. I'm talking about if a man is, if he's sexually satisfied. Okay, I said it wrong. If a man has had sex with you and he feels good, he feel like he conquered you. Does he really even care? Like the specifics of what you want in bed. Not do he care about himself, but do he really, really care about what you're saying? Especially if you don't bring it up until after the fact.
Oh, okay, I get what you're saying. So you basically like at that point, how you are actually feeling, he probably could actually care less because he's being getting
Right.
you're satisfying him. And
That
as
is
long
a
as
lot of
he's
men.
satisfied, he good.
A lot of men do that.
Right. Just like once a dude have sex, like the chase, well, not all dudes, but some dudes will chase you, and then once he gets you, the chase is off. So it's like
Yeah.
once he has sex with you, does it really matter to him what you wanted? Because he already came, he already got what he wanted, he
That's
already conquered you.
a sexual narcissist.
Your phone, you breaking up a little bit, Cherry. What you say?
A sexual narcissist.
Oh, that's what it is.
Yes. If you're not a narcissist, they can care
I can
less.
see
They
that.
don't even. Yeah, they can care less about anybody. A sociopath can care less about anybody's feelings or anybody else's views and input. So I feel like that's a sexual narcissist slash sociopath to me.
You know what? That makes sense for that to be someone that, and then I think too, it's when you think about it, it's borderline abusive. Am I reaching by saying it's borderline abusive or not?
No, ma'am, you are not. You are not, because if I'm laying down giving you my body, and you could care less about how I feel, then that is abuse, because I've given something and not received anything in return.
Mm-hmm.
You
Right.
know,
And that's the
especially
reason
in a
why I said I don't
relationship.
think it's good to fake orgasm because if it's somebody that you in a relationship with or whatever and you committed to, you're gonna eventually just feel used, and that's not a good feeling. It's a difference if you're going in a situation knowing you
Facts. Right.
coming to be used versus this person's supposed to love you.
Right. Right. Yeah, for sure. Or yeah, a lot of shit, or getting mad because you don't like the shit that they doing. Like, if you not doing it right, should I just lay here and just let you pound away or lick away and it don't feel good? And now you're gonna feel away because I'm not reacting how you want me to. I ain't
Right.
screaming and moaning, so now you feel away about that.
That's the wrong man you shouldn't be fucking with, because most men that are mature would be like, okay, we'll try to like accommodate what you need and do what you want. Like, what the hell?
You
Yeah.
would think.
Most men would.
Yeah, but if they have any of those things that you named, Cherry, when you were saying like sexual narcissist or social, what you call a
Sociopath.
sociopath, or what you call them, if they're either one of those two things, then they just wouldn't even care at all about how that person feel. But then at that point, us as women, we'll have to make the executive decision in that situation to decide to continue dealing in that particular type of situation or not. Because I know for me, I actually had a guy that I did know that he cared about me and he loved me. I wasn't being satisfied or whatever. We had went and got him some Cialis, but come to find out, he had dealt with health issues. Like, he used to be a diabetic, but the fact that he ended up getting to a point where he wasn't having to use the medicine anymore, but it still had played a role, on his body. So he would be like, have the semi-hard dick that, the kind of dick you gotta pour in the pussy. Like, he had that type of dick. So it was just like, you know what, this ain't gonna work. So he had when he got some Cialis or whatever the case may be. And like, it got to a point, I was like, I'm too young for this. I don't want to be with a guy that's, before we could
Get the
get it
vitamin dick.
popping, you gotta pop pills and all this all kinds of stuff. So that just we ended up, breaking up or whatever. I refuse at this point. I refuse to be in a situation at this point where I'm not being satisfied, because I have to really and truly take into account what it does for me mentally when I'm not being satisfied. It bothers me. I'd rather just be abstinent for a period of time and not doing anything, instead of, laying down and I'm not getting satisfied, because I'm gonna feel used and I'm gonna feel like shit. And the only thing that'll make me feel good about it if it is transactional. Other than that, if it's not one of them situations that we came in it with a transaction being understood, then I'm gonna need more from you than what you're giving me. And if you're not giving me that, then I'm gonna feel some type of way about myself. So
So here's a scenario I want to introduce. A friend of mine was having sexual problems with her husband, with telling him what she wanted. And he would get offended, he would get mad, he would get angry and not want to have sex with her when she wanted him to do different stuff. And then when they got to the bottom of it, he said, it's insecurities. When you ask me to do new and different stuff, it makes me feel like you've been out doing it with somebody else. Or where did you learn this stuff from? Why do you want me to do this now? He didn't take into consideration that she's older, her body might have changed. Maybe she like new different shit, or maybe the same old shit wasn't gonna satisfy her. I'm
hell,
sorry for
maybe
the
she been
people.
watching porn. Hell, or
Yeah,
talking
but
to
it
her
was a
homegirls or
problem, like
something.
a big problem for a long time for them when nothing else was a problem. He was saying that he was mad and upset because he felt like, why does she want all this new stuff? I feel like, I don't know. I feel like that's a big ego flaw, big character flaw in
Yeah, it
him.
is. I've actually had a guy that I'm gonna tell y'all this. The first time I actually gave head, right? The guy, me and this guy, he was my boy. I was a virgin. and everything. Like he was the same guy that I lost my virginity to, but I hadn't lost my virginity to him yet. But the first thing, we used to do the little oral thing or whatever. So the first time I gave him head, he told me that I've been doing this before, and he broke up with me for a minute.
Damn, was that good?
Like he broke up, and I'm
It
crying
just
like,
can't be good.
and then I'm gonna tell you what was crazy, because to be honest with you, had that may not have happened like that, I probably wouldn't have had even lost my virginity, because it was kind of like one of those things where it was kind of like, like, okay, we could go ahead and do it because I wanted my boyfriend, you know what I'm saying, type of thing. But I was like, no, I've never did it before or whatever. And he was like, yeah, you done did this before. I was like, no, I haven't. But he broke up with my ass. So I kind of,
Just slow.
How old?
I was, I was 15.
I was 16. See, I was a virgin and I was 16 the first time I took dick.
Yeah, I
So
was
you
15.
good?
Yeah.
I'm not
And
gonna
I'm
divulge
like,
that.
I hadn't ever, like him, he was like my first experience with, all kinds of stuff or whatever the case may be. Is somebody got some music or something in the background I hear? And it was, it's like a feedback. Now that ain't you, Terry.
Oh,
That's Keisha. You got some feedback.
I'm about to mute my mic.
Oh, okay. But and then when you want to say something, just unmute it. But when we did, mess around, I think that's another thing too that kind of messed me up as well. I'm gonna tell you the truth. This might sound crazy, but I wish I would have lost my virginity to an older guy who was more experienced. The reason why, and I think that has some type of bearing on the simple fact that I don't have an orgasm through penetration, and that actually caused me to be. I think I became a little bit too promiscuous or whatever when I was younger, for the simple fact, um, I was listening to what everybody was saying, and the girls were saying it feels like this, it felt like that, and I'm knowing that this is my boyfriend or whatever. I care about him and all this old kinds of stuff. And I at the time, I used to get older guys that would talk to me all the time, but I wasn't. Of course, I wasn't sleeping with them or anything like that. And a lot of the older guys really that talk to me, they wouldn't even really push that issue. You know what I'm saying? So the guy that I lost my virginity to, he was my age and all this old kinds of stuff. But when I lost my virginity, I was like, this it? Like, so now I feel like a crackhead chasing a nut. You know what I'm saying? Because I was just like, okay, I gotta go try another one, because now I done popped it open. So now I need to go try another one to see what they hitting for. And then I was like, this ain't what my homegirls, this ain't giving what it was supposed to have gave. So I'm like, okay, let me go try this one. And so next thing you know, I was like, you know what? Let me sit my ass down somewhere, because I can't be out here, because I really had that shit turned me into a dog. Like for real, because I wasn't scared to do it no more, and I wasn't tripping, and I always did it because I was just like, I was searching. I was like, let me see. I was searching for a feeling, not for love. A lot of people be like, when you're younger and you're promiscuous or whatever, it's different when it's a girl. When it's a boy, that's acceptable. But when it's a girl, it's like you trying to find yourself. No, I was trying to see what my homegirls was talking about, because I ain't got this feeling yet. And at the time, me and him, we was cool and we kept doing it or whatever, because that was my boyfriend. But once we broke up, the next guy that I got with, I wasn't as afraid to do it as I had been all that time. So I was like, okay, we did it, because I ain't worried about people talking about I'm finna bleed, it's gonna hurt, and all this old kinds of stuff, or whatever the case may be. But then after that popped off, I'm like, okay, I start dealing with other people and it'll be the same thing. And I'm just like, oh my God, like this is not giving what it was supposed to have gave. And then I realized, like, maybe one, I didn't know my own body well enough. And then two, when my first experience with somebody that wasn't as experienced enough to explore that with me, as I think that first time, hindsight, looking back or whatever the case may be, I wasted a whole bunch of pussy. And I really do feel like, you know, that that first time, that first experience need to be with somebody who is special and somebody who is going to be willing to, explore that with you, instead of, y'all running around messing with all these different people and all this old kind of stuff. It takes some time. I think two virgins need to probably, I think it's probably like best for it to maybe be like two virgins doing it, or I think that way a person won't know. But the thing is, for me, I think you got to watch the crowd that you're around too, because for me, I heard too many stories. So even though I was a virgin, I still was hot in the ass. It wasn't like I had never came before or anything like that, because we did other stuff. It just we never had penetration. You get what I'm saying? So
Who
with
is
that
teaching these
being
boys how
said,
to have sex though?
huh?
It's nobody teaching men how to have sex. They're not getting good feedback from their homies, or they even probably their fathers. They're not telling them how to please a woman or what to do. They just out here going off of Cinemax, or I mean, we in that age range. They going off of Cinemax and HBO soft porn. They don't know what the fuck they doing. So, excuse my language. I'm sorry. So, a person your age, yeah, you're right. They probably wouldn't have known what to do to make you feel like what you thought you was gonna feel, because there's nobody teaching them. They learning the
Mm-hmm.
worst habits, the rapiest habits, the most aggressive habits from their older cousins, they uncles and their fathers. So they don't know the first thing about making a woman feel good. That's something you probably can't get until you get in a relationship with somebody later on in their life,
Yeah,
especially black men. You know
yeah,
that you know how aggressive the sexual thing is for black men. If we being honest, it's
yeah.
like a rite of passage for them. So they not taught, hey, make her feel good so she can come back. They taught beat it up and make it hurt type of stuff, especially when they're
Mm-hmm.
young boys. So it's nothing. You lost your
Unfortunately,
virginity probably to the right person, but he probably don't. He probably still don't even got the skills that can get you off until he's well into his late 30s or 40s, because ain't
yeah.
nobody teaching them.
Yeah, and I think too, like what I was saying too. I think it needs to be somebody who. I think it needs to be these people need to be both. They need to be virgins, or they need to be like real virgins, like pure virgins, like not no. You've been playing around and you've been doing all, and you've been getting off different kind of ways or whatever the case may be. Now, when it comes to this, you don't understand your body. When it comes to the penetration and everything, you don't understand your body. You don't know what you're supposed to feel, but you have had an orgasm before different ways. So now you essentially start looking for it. And I think that's what happened to me. Like now that because I was getting it these different ways, I can't even figure out what I need to do to get it just from penetration, because I got it as a virgin. I was getting it this way. And so the feeling, I say the sensation is not the same. And so I think people have to really be careful with that. You're muted. You're muted.
How common is vaginal orgasm through penetration? I don't know anybody.
So it's not common.
No, it's not common because probably because black men
Oh, so
have
ain't
big
nothing wrong
old
with
things,
me.
huh?
So ain't nothing wrong with me.
No, it's not.
No.
It's very very common because
Oh,
the vaginal canal is 4 inches deep. That's how you hit the G spot. That's how you hit the places that make us come, right behind the clit. Black man, do you know a lot of well, a 4 inches, a man is gonna shoot right past where it feel good, and he gonna hit straight back to that cervix. And so, if he's not caring or he doesn't know the female body, he's not gonna be able to give you no vaginal orgasm. you definitely got to teach a nigga to give you a female orgasm with penetration. That ain't going. That's super rare. Like, you gotta have a nigga that you in love with. He gotta want to listen. He can't have a big ego, and he probably can't have a big old huge dick either, because he gonna shoot right past the spot to make you feel good. That feeling that you've been looking for. That G, it's the double stimulation. It's him rubbing up against the front of your body, and his dick
Yes,
hitting
that
your
part
little
right there.
spot.
That's the reason why I like I do me a little
It's
penis.
almost not gonna happen unless he really wanna do it. Unless he really listening to you, because these niggas ain't out here with 4 inches of dick. I am I talk. I'm sorry. Do you know what's in here? It
No,
ain't
you
water.
fine. Girl, you
I'm talking
fine.
too freely.
Child, we've been over here drinking and smoking blunts and all kinds of stuff. This is the
I'm
death
in
of
my
the age.
car.
Honey, we
You know
turned
I'm
up over
sick,
here.
sis. I'm quarantining in my car. But it's gonna be impossible if a nigga don't care,
Yeah,
because just
that's
because of
true.
the anatomy and physiology of our bodies. If he don't care, then he gonna shoot past every time. And I don't know no female other than females in like long committed relationships who are having orgasms from penetration. Do a poll. I bet you. And if they say they have them all the time, they cap.
Okay, I'm gonna do a poll. I'm gonna do a
Please
poll.
do,
Matter of
yeah,
fact, I'm
do
gonna do a
so.
poll to promote the video. That's what I'm gonna do to promote the video with a poll.
I
So
would do it.
anyway, I ain't trying to keep y'all forever in a day or whatever. I thank y'all so much for joining me. Cherry, did you have any last words that you want to say, or anything that you got going on that you would like to promote? Tell people where to find you, or whatever the case may be.
I ain't got no other last words other than follow me on Instagram, Cherry motherfucking Red. It's CherryMuhfxCKINREDD. And subscribe to my OnlyFans, y'all. OnlyFans.com/Cherry the Goddess, CherryDagodess. Okay. Thank you for
Okay.
having me.
Thank you so much for coming. I'm really so glad that you came and you let me use it. Now the girl on that, she's the one that's on the thumbnail, y'all. She models. She ain't say that she models. I guess
Oh,
she
yeah.
done. She models.
I model too. I model, but
Yeah, and so she had her profile picture was so dope, and I was like, it's more to the profile picture than what I put on there, but I didn't want to get flagged because I be getting flagged. But I was like, girl, can I use this? And she was
yeah.
like, yeah. So that's a real woman. It's really her. I didn't go get no random people. It's really her on the thumbnail. Girl, I had 19 people in my inbox inquiring about you. Talking about who is that? I said that's gonna be the person that's on tonight, my special guest. I was just like, y'all so funny. They was like, I thought you had just got that off the internet. I was like, why would I just get a random person?
No, it's me. It's me.
Yeah. But thank you so much for coming on with me. It's such a short notice. Girl, I hit this girl up at 2 o'clock in the morning. Talking about you still up. But
Yeah,
thank you
that's
so much for coming on with me. I know that you've been really, really busy and have a lot going on. So I definitely appreciate you taking your time out and patronizing the Deaths of the Asia.
Yeah.
And on some future shows might be coming up. I might have to get your expertise and the knowledge and wisdom that you be dropping. And with you being at the age that you are, you have a lot of wisdom that you shed amongst your peers that I think that they really do need to take heed to. So thank you for being on here. I love you, beautiful girl.
I love you
And
too.
you have a good one. Keisha, is there something else that you wanted to say? Something you got going on?
Don't spare these niggas. Tell them every time. If they doing it wrong, you need to tell them. Don't sit there and be somebody's masturbation piece. You just laying there getting masturbated on. It don't matter if it hurt their feelings. It'll be good for you in the long run. Because if you hold your tongue, it's not valid later. That's how niggas work. I'm sorry. That's how men work. If you don't say nothing, then later on, it's not as valid. So keep it real. Don't just lay there and be somebody's masturbation piece. You ain't no fleshlight. You need to come too. Period.
Well, that was that.
That's all I got.
Well, thank
Don't follow me on no social medias.
You said don't follow you. Okay.
Don't follow me.
No, don't follow her. See, don't follow her. She don't want
I'm
to be
stressed out.
followed.
I'm stressed. I ain't got time.
Okay. Well, again, thank you, ladies, for joining me. I'm glad Keisha popped on. She always be in the comments, but she don't never be popping on. So thank you for popping on too, Keisha. Thank y'all so much for tuning in tonight to the Deaths of the Asia. Make sure if you're watching from YouTube that you have liked the video and subscribe to the channel. If you're watching on Facebook, like and follow the page on Facebook, and then head over to YouTube and subscribe to the YouTube channel and share this shit. I lost my train of thought. But thank y'all so much for tuning in tonight. We're about to tune out. Y'all have a good one. Bye-bye.
Bye.
I hope you black men were paying attention. I hope you black men were paying attention.